if you really look at what Outlier is, it's because of this ethos that you forged over the years. And so the customer experience in all these nuanced ways is someone, like you said, who it's our capital, we care, we know how to do this, we've done this many, many times, and we're gonna be with you for the next 3, 4, 5, 10 years.
Yeah.
And
across cycles.
Right, across cycles. And now people know that, and that's in your blood. And that, it's fascinating to me. They always say the customer experience is a lagging indicator of the company culture. I always love that. And so like sometimes people see like an episode of the show, or they'll see one of your successful startups and they're like, oh wow, I guess I could do that too. But it's like, you maybe could, but if you want to do it consistently over time, it's probably built on a lot of things.
And I wouldn't recommend trying.
Right?
There's easier things to do in life, you know, than being Accelerator, I can assure you, you know.
Yeah, I would say to that. Can you walk me through a case study, perhaps, of what you do? Because I think a lot of people don't know the difference between, say, an incubator and an accelerator. And maybe we take one of your companies. I don't know. I know, you know, something like Fetch AI is quite famous.
Yeah,
but I was curious if you could take something like them and say, okay, how would they meet you? Then what happens next? Then what happens next? And then what happens next? Because I think it'd be a really good case study for me and everybody else.
Yeah. So actually, Fetch.ai is an interesting one in that it also tells our story of how we've evolved what we do and what we don't do. So actually, when we worked with Fetch.ai, which I think was late 17 maybe.
Wow, a long time ago.
We were the first investor in, first check. It was a referral that came to us. And back then, we would only work with a handful of teams. I think we maybe had 15 staff, something like that. And so we'd work with a handful of teams, and we were more closer to an incubator than an accelerator, and I'll kind of explain the difference. So we'd work with a handful of teams. They'd all be at totally different stages. So some would be more later stage, some would be a little bit earlier. And they'd all need slightly different things, and you wouldn't know what they'd need. You know, it'd just be they've hit a problem. It could be, you know, they want help with commercialization. You know, they want to be being introduced to the industrial base in Germany, and they want, you know, how that's commercially framed to be developed. It could be fundraising with Fetch.ai. At that point, you know, they were, like everybody at the time, looking to create a layer one. You know, it wasn't obvious to everybody that Ethereum, you know, would continue to be dominant. They were looking at their requirement to leverage blockchains for AI, and the current implementation, previous implementation of Ethereum wouldn't allow that to happen by design. And so they felt they had to build something, you know, top to bottom. Building a layer one is incredibly hard, and we help them on that journey. All the kind of technical decisioning, really deeply in the weeds. And we knew that was going to be a multi-year engagement. And it didn't even have an understood beginning and an end. It was just like, we're in it with you, and we got a meaningful share in that. I forget what it was, but call it 6% of the network or something like that. And that would vest over several years, you know. And so we're deeply committed, deeply involved, but it's very difficult to scale. And so we did that with Fetch and a couple of other partners, and we did very well from an investment perspective relative to making just a handful of bets. I think almost all of them came off, bar one, in terms of, you know, 200x plus type returns. And so that really helped us ground our learning and understanding all the way down into the stack, like really deeply technical challenges and problems, all the way up to the commercialization of the technology, like end to end. Now we're still involved with Fetch very deeply. You know, Hamayan, H, very good friend of mine. We're actually due a catch up. I'm going to go to his place or my place. I think he's renewing his wedding vows soon. We're friends, you know, we're very good friends. And what's interesting is this is now in vogue, right? When we were doing it 17, 18, our vision, his vision was that Web3 would be a great infrastructure to coordinate decentralized AI. Now, keep in mind, Hermione was the first angel investor into DeepMind. His CTO at the time was the first technical hire at DeepMind. And DeepMind is the company that Google bought to create its AI competency, and its CEO has now taken over AI in totality at Google in response to what's happening with Microsoft and ChatGPT. So he'd already had that vision, and we'd already made a few investments, including Ocean Protocol with Trent McConaughey, who's also an AI guy, came to Web3 as an AI guy, realized it could enable this new data economy, the commodification of data, ultimately to train AI models. So we were kind of playing around in that, and we knew that was going to be a decade vision. And a lot of the times, we talked to other investors, and I was like, yeah, dude, you're talking 50 years away. And these were deep Web3 investors. They weren't, traditional investors. And it took a lot of conviction, right? And we went, both Ocean and Fetch, had the highs and then the 90% losses. Crypto winter for 2 years, couldn't raise any money. Continued to ship product and survive until 2023. It's amazing if you think about that founder resilience, right? Both actually, Ocean Protocol and Fetch.ai. And so that kind of way of working in a relationship is different to how we work with startups now. I can't possibly personally be that involved as I was then. We had that's kind of where we developed a lot of our learnings, like what works, what doesn't work. Okay, is there a blueprint here that you could repeat to a degree with a Web3 startup? Like, how do you categorize the risks that you've got to mitigate? Well, there's technical risk, business model risk, go-to-market risk, regulatory risk. Okay, well, how could we create some content programs around that? Of course, they all have to constantly be updated because it's all evolving. How can we modularize that kind of learning? And I know you also do stuff in kind of the e-learning space, right? So it's productizing learning in a way. And then so what year was it? So we're 23. I think after a couple of years, maybe 19, 20, I'm not sure.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. I'm looking for partners, collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me around the globe and create real value, generational wealth, and financial freedom for everyone else around the world. Get involved in the cryptocurrency markets, get involved in the NFT markets. This is your moment. Life all comes down to a few moments. Don't let this pass. Now it's not too late. Next year's going to be too late. Ultimately, this is about freedom. That's the way I see it. This is about giving power back to the people and enabling billions of people worldwide to use the financial markets to improve their lives and those of their friends and their families and their communities. Honestly, I think it's a violation of human rights not to allow people basic access to financial services. Because right now people are being kept in the dark, they're being robbed of education, and it's a travesty. And so I'm looking for people that want to join me and be a part of this solution. And that all happens inside the DeFi Academy.
The gains my students are making are absolutely amazing. Double, triple-digit gains in the first month alone. That's amazing. This will change your life. Now is the time to get involved. I'm gonna tell you exactly how my students in my academy made money in the last 30 days. I'm talking about real trading results. And let me just whet your appetite a little bit. Let me hit you with some numbers. I'm talking Brendan from New Zealand is up 68.77% on the month. Steve from Europe up 83%. Albert in Singapore up 169.9% on one single trade. I got Susan up 153% on her call options alone, also rocking 139% returns and 442% returns as well on individual trades. These are people that are changing their financial future in the last 30 days, but it's based on trading discipline.
I've graduated over 500 students from inside my academy from over 54 countries around the world. It's amazing. When it comes to crypto, DeFi, and blockchain, we love this space. We truly believe it's the future. This is down to our core. It's authentic to what we're doing, and everybody can tell through the camera because you can't make this stuff up. If you're watching me now, wherever you are, I implore you, take 60 seconds right now and join my academy. Apply today. Now you've got a chance. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you gonna do? What's the choice that you're going to make?